Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Can
evening,
you
ma'am.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today, how many of you are there? Only. Okay. So today we will be starting with how do organisms reproduce. How many newcomers? One minute. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
1 minute. I'm not able to get the screen. Yeah. So how many of you are newcomers? Divya Shri, Arshita, Akshita, Shishan, Sunita. Okay. First, all of you went through the assignment. Any of you? Today morning, I have sent you the assignment for this chapter, no? Have you gone through the assignment?
I saw through the questions, ma'am.
You are able to answer, know all the questions?
Yeah, ma'am, I went through all the questions, but I didn't write it down yet.
No need, no. Morning only, no, I have sent. No, you have any doubts or any question which you are not aware of? That is what I'm asking.
No, ma'am, I didn't face any difficulties in the question.
Okay. Remaining? Remaining people? So, before going to the assignment part, I'll give you a brief summary. Now we cannot talk in detail. I'll give you all the brief summary how to organisms reproduce. And those who are already listened, the older ones, Hamsini, Niranjan, all these. Are you there?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
First, before, by the time I finish, once go through the assignment, you have any doubts or you want to have any queries, just ask me.
Okay,
Okay?
ma'am.
Sure, ma'am.
Ma'am, is the assignment sent in app?
No, I kept in a group only. See, WhatsApp group only. Okay? So to the remaining people, how do organisms reproduce? So before going into how do the organisms reproduce, I think so by now you are all aware that any cell, whether it is a prokaryotic cell or whether it is a eukaryotic cell, a unicellular organism or a multicellular organisms, all organisms are, or everything is made up of cells. And inside the cells, there will be a nucleus, especially in case of a eukaryotes. There will be a nucleus, and inside the nucleus, there will be chromosomes, or we call them as also chromatins. Chromosomes are nothing but those that are made up are highly coiled DNA plus proteins. What are chromosomes? One of you can answer.
Highly coiled DNA plus proteins.
Who is speaking?
Jesus.
Huh? Who is speaking? What are chromosomes? Let us speak. No, you can unmute yourself. No problem. Speak out. When you speak only, you will be able to know. So what are chromosomes? Highly coiled DNA plus protein. This, why I am asking you repeatedly is, this is a 1 mark question. You will be getting what are chromosomes or what is DNA. These are the all 1 mark questions. So inside the chromosomes, or usually it is made up of DNA and protein. DNA is nothing but the genes. So you can see this is the chromosome. Each chromosome have arms and the arms are fixed in the middle. You can see. Can you see all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So these are arms are known as sister chromatids. 1 minute. So these are made up of DNA. DNA is tightly coiled to form into a chromosome. So it will be having arms, 2 on the one side, 2 on the other side, and they are connected by a centromere. So all this is not required for you all, but this is how the chromosome look like. So chromosome is nothing but the highly coiled DNA plus protein. So this is DNA. DNA means what? Can anybody answer?
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Deoxyribonucleic acid. So this is the complete picture. So inside the cell, there will be nucleus. The nucleus contains chromosome. So when we zoom it out, this is how the chromosome looks out. When chromosome slowly will be tightly coiled, means this is the basic DNA. DNA is linear only. Then it will be coiled with the proteins known as histone proteins, and finally leads to the formation of the chromosome. Okay, you can see the arrow. So this is the basic interaction of the triploid. Why you require this is you need to know. So all of you know what is DNA. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Next, how the DNA replicates. So please remember, DNA is the basic material. This is what we get from our parents and our offsprings. It contains all the genes required for our anything, for hair color or for daily metabolism. All the genes are present in the DNA itself. So it is also known as blueprint or master copy. Okay, so the DNA, how DNA will be replicating, means a new DNA will be formed. From the existing DNA only, we will be getting new DNA. That process is known as replication. Please remember that process is known as replication. So if a cell divides, one cell will be dividing into 2 cells. Okay, so each cell will be having their own DNA itself, which we got it from the pre-existing DNA by process of replication. Means what will happen is, first the DNA will double itself. If one DNA is there, it will be forming into 2 DNA molecules. Then the cell will be divided like simple binary, you know, amoeba, no? Amoeba division, binary fission. The cell will be divided into 2 halves, and so each cell will be getting its own DNA. So this is how happens. You can see the picture over here. So this is a single DNA. Now the DNA will be divided, the duplicates itself. So here we'll get 2 DNA. Then after that, the cell division takes place, and each daughter cell will be getting its own DNA. So this process of DNA duplication is known as replication. So why this DNA duplication? You can see here, no, that the DNA copying is being taking place. So why it is very important? This is the most important 3 marks question. Okay, it's the most important 3 marks question. The variation question will be coming both in the heredity as well as in the how do organisms reproduce also. Very most, why is variation? What is variation? Variation means different forms of the same allele. Why is variation very important? Okay, first we'll see why, how the what leads to variation. Environmental factors, next as well as the genetic factors. Means during the DNA, because especially in asexual reproduction, it is mostly the environmental factors. Whereas in sexual reproduction, due to the two parents are involved, and because of fusion of the male and female gametes, recombination takes place, and due to this, variation is resulted. Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll ask in the last. First, I'll be telling off because it's a bigger chapter. We need to come to just give a overview. So, why is variation very important? Because it is first DNA copying takes place. Due to DNA copying, where it results in the variation, and variation is very important because it helps in the survival of the species. So, those who are fittest only will be able to survive in the changes which is changing to the changing environmental conditions and adapt to the new conditions. Those who cannot fit to that environment, they will die. Best examples are dinosaurs. That's why they became extinct. They were not able to fit into the changing environmental conditions. So they have extincted long ago itself. So variations is nothing but the basics of the evolution. So due to variation only, we have evolved, and we have become a human beings. From monkeys, we have finally come into a human being. Because of these useful variations only, we have generated a new species, and it results in the formation of the new species. So this is why the variation is very important. Now we'll come to the reproduction. So in reproduction is of 2 types, as we have been telling you all, asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction. Yeah, as all of you know, asexual reproduction, only single parent is involved, whereas in sexual reproduction, 2 parents, that is male parent as well as the female parent is involved. In case of flowering plants also, unisexual flower plants means only one male or one female gametes are present, whereas in bisexual, both male and female gametes are present. So in asexual reproduction is a very simple process. No much reproductive organs or no fusion of gametes or nothing is important. Simply the cell will be divided into 2 cells, and the DNA which is present is divided into 2. Whereas in sexual reproduction, because 2 parents are involved, each parent will be producing its own gametes. The gametes, that is the 6 gametes produced by the male are known as male gametes, and those produced by the female are known as female gametes. Here the fusion of the male and female gametes takes place, and this leads to the variations, or a slight variation will be present. So this is the difference between the asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. I hope all of you have understood. So let us start with in a fast process, asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction means only single parent is involved, and these are the different types of asexual reproduction: fusion, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, and spore formation. First, let us learn with the fusion. Fusion, both binary fission as well as multiple fission is involved. You can see in the picture, the binary fission mostly is amoeba, where the first, you must have been also written an experiment in your records regarding this amoeba division, where the cell first will be enlarging itself, DNA replication will be taking place, and nucleus will be divided into 2, later followed by the cells, cytoplasmic division, means the cytoplasm will be divided and finally leads to the formation of two daughter cells. Okay, so this is called as the binary fission, and a small exceptional cases is Leishmania, where there will be a longitudinal division. Here, because amoeba does not have any shape, so division can be taking place in any angle. It can happen here, it can happen in this way. It will anywhere it will be divided into two equal halves. Whereas Paramecium, will be like this, with flagella on the top. Here division will be longitudinal, means in this direction only the division takes place. Okay, so this is an exceptional form. In case of multiple fission, the best example is Plasmodium, where repeatedly division does not take. At a time, lot of spores will be released out. Means, see, you can see here that these are, first this is a small daughter cells, then many daughter cells are formed inside, they increase in size, then only the bursting takes place and all the daughter cells will be released out. Okay, the best example for multiple fission is Plasmodium. Next, budding. Budding takes place both in yeast as well as Hydra. Best examples are yeast and Hydra, and these are all important 3 marks questions you need to be writing with the diagrams. For all these asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction, you need to write it with diagrams. So you can see this is a Hydra. To the side of the Hydra, a bud is developed, and when the bud get detached, which leads the single bud, detached bud can form into a new organism. Same way in the spore formation also. The best example is Rhizopus. You can see here the best example is Rhizopus. 1 minute. So this is called as, you can see the picture over here. This is called the whatever the sac that is holding the spores is known as sporangium, and the stalk like structure, you can see this one, the stalk like structure is known as the stem or a hyphae. So, and when the sporangium increases in size, it will burst and all the spores will be released outside. So what are spores? Spores are the double-walled hard structures. So we, under favorable condition, each spore will be giving rise to a new plant. Okay, this is the spore formation. Next, regeneration. So in case of regeneration, the best example again is Hydra and Planaria. So if you divide this organism into any number of parts, each part will be giving rise to a new organism. That is known as regeneration. But why cannot multicellular complex organisms cannot show power of regeneration is because we have organ system level, tissue level. So we have highly complex organisms, multicellular, or example human being. So we cannot does not have a tendency to regenerate. So only usually it will take place in the unicellular organisms itself. Next, fragmentation. Best example is Spirogyra. Spirogyra is a green filamentous algae. So when we divide into different fragments, each fragment will be growing into a new organism. And finally, vegetative propagation, which takes place mostly in the plants. So you must also be knowing about it. The best examples are potato, where the stem will be can be taken into vegetative propagation. So these are the different buds present on the potato. When we cut it and place it individually, each one will be giving rise to a new plant. Another ones are begonia, where leaves can give rise to a new plant. Where money plant, stem can give rise to a new plant. So what are the different artificial methods of vegetative propagation? So how can we go for the vegetative propagation, artificial method? First one is cutting, where we can cut by using any part of the plant, especially the stem part of the plant, and place it and cut the and play and resoil or replant it. It can grow into a new plant. Best examples where vegetative propagation is used is rose, sugarcane, cactus can be giving rise to new plants by cutting method. Next, layering. This is called as layering. Especially we can do in case of jasmine, strawberry, hibiscus, guava. So we are just if we soil the branch, one branch of the plant, the branch will be developing different adventitious roots, and this again will be a separate new plant. Next is another most important technique is grafting. So in case of grafting, there will be a root and a shoots. Okay, this the part of the plant which is having the roots is known as stalk, and the part of the plant which is having the shoot is known as a cycon. So the root can be, this part of the plant can be a different plant, this part of the plant is from another plant. So both of them will be joined and tied tightly with a plastic thread or plastic sheet or anything, and allow it to this comes back into a different plant. That's why nowadays we can see bougainvillea, different colors of bougainvillea we call as paper flowers. We different color flowers, types of flowers are seen on the same plant itself because of grafting. Hope you understood, all of you newcomers.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
they say that regeneration is not the same as reproduction. Why is that? I mean, reproduction is nothing but producing new individuals of this, which are similar.
This regeneration is reproduction, but it is a asexual reproduction.
Yes, ma'am. But in the textbook, it's given that regeneration is not the same as reproduction because most organisms do not normally depend on being cut upon. Sorry. Yeah, do not normally depend on being cut to be able to reproduce.
Because usually only it exists in one or two organisms. Okay. Regeneration capacity. Okay. We cannot and there is a saying that we cannot consider it as a reproduction, but still the organism, a new organism. So where I told you regeneration examples,
Planaria,
planaria, and one or two organism, if by accidentally the organism gets cutted, then each part can go into a new plant. Means they usually they don't go for regeneration, for reproduction. But if accidentally any or by due to some cases, if it gets fragmented or cutted,
Do we see planaria in our
then each one will give rise to, each part will give rise to a new organism. That is
yes,
why
I understand
they usually tell that regeneration is not a reproduction.
Okay, but how do they even get cut upon? Like
Accidental. Anything can happen, no? Accidental.
Okay.
For example, lizard is there.
Lizard is
tail has
regrowth.
gone.
We can see the lizard, but do we see planaria?
Planaria, all we can see under the microscope.
Under the microscope, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Those are unicellular organism. We can see under the microscope.
Okay,
any more doubts?
Ma'am, but lizard is actually not regeneration, ma'am. It is regrowth.
Yeah, it means I'm just telling you an example.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Any more?
No doubts, ma'am.
Okay, then we'll go to the sexual reproduction. Hope you are understanding because I'm going very fast. Just like a summary, I'm trying to tell you all. So another important technique nowadays is tissue propagation or micropropagation, or we call it as a tissue culture. So what is this technique is? This is a laboratory method. Okay, you can see a picture over here. For easy understanding, 1 minute. I'll put a mark pointer. So this is a Petri plate. First, the cells were grown in a Petri plate under laboratory condition. So you can see small dots form. Those are known as callus. And slowly from this only we'll be getting shoot and the roots, and the small plants will be developed. From this, the plant slowly will be taken into a smaller containers, and from smaller containers, they will be shifted into larger containers. So at a time, we can produce many number of plants, and it is a very fast technique. And also it is since it's all these are done under laboratory conditions. Also, most of the plants are free of diseases, or free of means there will be no external damage to the plant. Okay, they are, because they are grown in optimum laboratory conditions. So nowadays this technique is being rapidly used to generate plants in a bulk, to produce disease resistant plants, to produce new plants, all these in a bulk. So this is one of the most important technique, and the 3 marks, very good 3 marks answer. So hope all of you know what are the advantages of asexual reproduction. Now next, let us move to the sexual reproduction. As I told you all, sexual reproduction. Yes, ma? Any doubts? So in case of sexual reproduction, 2 parents are involved, male parent and female parent. Usually females gives rise to female gametes, which we commonly known as the egg, whereas males gives rise to male gametes known as sperm. So eggs and the sperms fuse to form zygote, and the zygote will be forming into an embryo, and embryo will be giving rise to the new offspring. So here, simply for your understanding, I put a human being's figure. So most of the sexually reproducing organisms will be having both the gametes. So why it's significant? Because it leads to variations. It has vigor and vitality. Uniformity of the population will be seen. Also, it results in the evolution. So now coming to the flowering plants, the most important 5 marks question and the 3 marks question, whether in form of a diagram, or they'll ask you to draw the diagram, or they give the diagram and ask you all to label the parts, or they'll ask you all about each and every specific part. The most important thing, and please be properly practicing this flower and their different parts of the flower properly. So this is a bisexual flower. This is the longitudinal section of the flower. You can see this is a bisexual flower. So in the case of bisexual flower, both the male as well as female gametes are involved. So the male gametes are known as what?
Stamen,
Female gametes are known as?
pistil or
Pistil.
carpel,
Carpel.
What does the male gametes contain?
pollen
Pollen.
grains.
Egg. No.
Oh, they have
Anther and filament.
Anther and filament.
Pollen grains are present in?
Anther.
Yes. Whereas female gametes contain?
Stigma,
Stigma.
stylo.
style ovary.
Can you explain those? Stigma?
Stigma
Stigma
is
is a
key part, whereas the style is the long tube which joins the stigma to the ovary. Ovary is where the fusion of the gametes happens.
Yes. So these are the different parts which I have given in detail. about the each and every part. First is the calyx, the outer part, or we call them as sepals. Okay, the outermost wall of, if you take a flower, will be having always the outermost, and green leaves will be present at the outermost. Those are known as sepals or calyx. Next, the colorful petals. It can be red or white or any other color, any color. Those are known as petals or corolla. Third part is known as androecium. Androecium is nothing but the male parts of the plant known as stigma. Whereas the fourth part is known as gynoecium. They are known as pistils or the carpels of the flower. So when they ask you to draw the flower, please draw in this way. Okay, please draw in this way and label each and every part of the flower in detail. So usually we have two types of flowers. A bisexual flower already you have seen. Best examples are mustard, rose, hibiscus. You can just pluck a hibiscus flower and see both the pistil and stamens will be present on the same flower itself. Whereas unisexual flowers are those, either they have a male or a female parts on. Best examples are papaya, watermelon, cucurbittus. So if you have any papaya tree, please go and see, you'll be able to find the unisexual flowers. So what is
Ma'am,
Yes, ma?
I have a doubt. So in a hibiscus flower,
Oh.
okay, after the pollen grains go and they fuse, what exactly happens to the flower? Like
I'll tell you
Okay.
next. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Let's finish this, all this 1 mark and 2 marks answers.
Okay, ma'am.
Next, pollination. What is pollination? Means transfer of pollen grains from anther of the stamen to the receptive stigma of the carpel is called as pollination. Two types of pollinations will be present: self-pollination and the cross-pollination. Self-pollination means from the same flower, from the stigma and from the anther of the same flower, it falls on the stigma of the same flower, like in hibiscus. You can see in the previous slide. I cannot, you have seen in the previous slide. So in those flowers, the same the pollination happens within the same flower itself, from the anther to the stigma. That is called as self-pollination. Whereas in case of cross-pollination, pollen grains from one flower can go and fall on the stigma of the another flower. This is called as cross-pollination. Please remember, this is called as cross-pollination. So cross-pollination can be, so it is pollen grains cannot fly. Okay, it don't have wings. So which external agents will be helping or aiding in the cross-pollination is wind, water, and as well as the animals like honeybees. So now coming to the how the fertilization takes place in the plant. Please remember the stepwise process, and this is one of the most important 5 marks question also. So what will happen is, so this is the pollen. Already I will show you all. 1 minute. Yes, ma?
Which type of fertilization produces maximum number of pollen grains, ma'am?
It can be cross or self, ma. It varies from plant to plant, based on whether what type of flowers. That is a very detailed study.
Okay.
For you all, just self or cross is more than enough. Based on the plant, everything that will be varying. In some plants, both self cross pollination and cross pollination also takes place. Okay. So now how does the fertilization takes place? The most important question. So now I'm just drawing here for you all for understanding the stamens. And this diagram also, the TS of ovary also is very important. So this is what is this? Filament. And this is the anther. the male flowering parts of the plant. So from this anther, the pollen grains will be released. These are the pollen grains. Okay. Now these pollen grains falls onto the stigma and gets attached to the stigma. What is stigma? Stigma is the sticky. Yes, ma? Yes.
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay. So stigma is the sticky part of the carpet. So the pollen grains first come and fall on the stigma. Once they fall on the stigma, what will happen is they absorb water, swell, and finally germinate. Okay, after they fall on the stigma, they will absorb water, swell, and germinate. So once they swell, they produce a tube-like structure known as pollen tube or style. It comes from the pollen grain itself. It does not, inside itself, it's not there. So they will be producing a tube-like structure known as pollen tube or the style. Once this pollen tube or style is produced and connected to the ovary, which is present inside the ovule, which is present inside the ovary. Now the pollen grains has two male gametes. One pollen grain will be having how many gametes? Two male gametes. Now these male gametes will be entering into this pollen tube. Okay. Once they enter into the pollen tube, one male gamete will be fusing with the egg. One male gamete will be fusing with the polar nucleus. Okay, please remember, one male gamete will be fusing with the egg. One male gamete will be fusing with the polar nucleus. So because of this, this is known as a triple fusion. And because double fertilization takes place, means 2 times the fusion takes place, it is known as double fertilization. Okay, understood? Any doubts? Or are you confused? Confused, huh?
No, ma'am. How does the triplot form, ma'am? The second male gamete fuses with the two pollen
Polar nuclei.
polar nuclei. Then it forms one, no, ma'am. That is also diploid.
No, no. Here, 2 male gametes will be present, not one male gamete, 2 male gametes will be present inside the ovary. Okay, if we go in detail, you can see here, inside the ovary, one side there will be eggs, one side there will be antipodal cells, and in the middle there will be 2 nucleus known as polar nucleus. So one male gametes will be fusing with the egg itself. Okay, one male gamete will be fusing with the polar nuclei. Because 2 nuclei are involved, it is known as a other male gamete will be fusing with the polar nuclei. This is known as, because 2 plus 1, 3 will be formed. It is known as triploid. This one is not much required for you. Okay. So because 2 times the fusion has taken place. One male gamete with the egg, one male gamete with the 2 polar nuclei. So because of that, it is known as double fertilization. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
And so what will happen here is how the formation of fruits and seeds are formed. So now the fertilized egg, why I told you double fusion, please remember. The fertilized egg will be developing into an embryo and form into an ovule. Okay. Now the ovule will be developing a tough seeds and form in tough coat and form into a seed. So please remember. So one fusion will give us ovule. and the ovule forms into seed. Whereas other fusion, all the fusion will be forming into ovary, and the ovary gives us the fruit. Understood? So if this is the ovary, inside will be the ovules, that is nothing but the seeds. If you take a mango, in the middle there will be a seed. Seed is the ovule, whereas the fruit is the ovary. Understood? No, nobody have understood, I think so.
Yes, ma'am, understood, ma'am.
Whereas this is fruit is complete ovary. So the whatever the male gametes that goes and fuses with the egg will be forming into an ovule and finally forming into a seed. The male gametes which are producing into a will be fusing with the polar nucleates, leads to the formation of ovary and finally leads to the formation of the complete fruit. Okay, that is why that part, that is the double fission part, you should be writing when you're writing the complete about the TS of the ovary. So once the ovary has been formed, so the from the complete, the part of the baby plant that develops into a shoot is known as lumen, whereas the part that develops into a radical root is known as the radical. So if we take a cotyledon, if you cut it into half, so the part that leads to the shoot is known as the lumen, and the part that leads to the root is known as the radical. And the seed diagram is also very important. So cotyledons, the part of the seed which contains stored food for the baby plant is called cotyledon. Okay, the part of the plant seed which contains the stored food for the baby plant is known as cotyledon. Hope you all understood. Any doubts still there?
No, ma'am.
No doubt,
Next.
ma'am.
Next, human reproductive system. Okay, we finished the flowering plants. Now we'll go to the human reproductive system. So in case of human reproductive system, we have males have male organs, females have female organs. So coming to the sex organs, the sex organs are of two types: primary sex organs and the secondary sex organs. The primary sex organs, usually in case of males it is testes. All these are the important 1 mark bits. The primary sex organs in case of males are testes. In case of females it is ovaries. Testes gives a male sex hormone known as testosterone, whereas the females or the ovaries gives us a female hormones known as estrogen and progesterone. Okay, please remember all these are the important 1 mark questions. Next, coming to the secondary sex organ, all the accessory sex organs. Over, all the secondary sex organs like genital ducts, glands, which help in the aid to transport these gametes, are also known as secondary sex organs. Okay, this is the difference between primary sex organs are those which produce the hormones, whereas secondary organs are those which aid in the transport of these hormones and the gametes. Okay, what are the sexual characters developed during the time of the at the time of puberty? Okay, so again these sexual characters are also two types: primary sexual characters and the secondary sexual characters. Primary sexual characters are those when we are born, that is differentiated into male and female. Okay, whereas secondary sexual characters are those when usually will be developed at the age of 13 to 14 for males and 10 to 12 for the females. Okay, so this is known as the puberty age. And this is the age when the sex organs will be started to growing and sex hormones will be released. Okay, so puberty in males is around 13 to 14 years, where the testosterone hormone will be started to be secreted from the testes, whereas in case of females it is 10 to 12 years, where the ovaries will be triggered to produce estrogen. So these are the secondary sexual characters which are developed in male and female. Important 3 marks question. Either of them can be asked. Please, if you can note down or you can take a screenshots. So enlargement of penis and scrotum, broadening of the shoulders, growth of body hair and the facial hair, deepening of the voice due to enlargement of larynx and thickening of vocal cords, increase in the development of muscular and bones, increase in height. These are the secondary sexual characters seen in human males. Whereas in females, development of breast and genita, growth of pubic hair and extra hair in armpits, broadening of pelvis, initiation of menstruation and ovulation, increased fat in thighs, shoulders, buttocks, and face. Now coming to the male reproductive system. Diagrams will be not asked in case of male and female reproductive system, but they will be asking you all to explain the different parts and the functions in case of male and female reproductive system. So what they are different parts, as you can see, that is scrotum. 1 minute. Scrotum. So this is like a pouch-like pigment which is present in the lower abdomen. The main function is thermoregulation. The temperature is maintained less than 2 degrees than the body temperature, because this is where the formation of the sperms takes place. Okay, here sperms are produced in the scrotum. Next, testes. Testes are the primary sex organs which are lying in the scrotum, and the main function is these are the sites where the sperms are produced, as well as they produce the sex hormone known as testosterone. And this has been repeatedly asked. What is the function of the testes? Please write. These are the sites where they produce sperms, as well as where they produce the sex hormone, that is the testosterone. Next, vasa deferentia. This is a straight tube-like structures which carries the sperms to the seminal vesicles. So, and it is like a temporarily stores the sperm. The main function is transport of sperms to the seminal vesicles. Next, urethra. So it is a 20 centimeters long tube that rises from the urinary bladder. Usually it carries urine in case of males. So here also, along with the urine, it has a double function. It will be able to carry the sperms also. It passes the penis and open to the male genital port. So it carries the sperms from vasa deferentia through the penis. Urethra is from, you can see from here, from the seminal vesicles, it will be carrying the sperms from the vasa deferentia to the penis. Finally, penis is the thick muscular organ. So all the sperms will be passing out through this penis in case of the males, or ejected outside the body through the penis itself. So these are the male reproductive system. So what are the, in addition to this, there are accessory sex glands in case of males. First one is seminal vesicles. What is its main function? It produces a fluid known as seminal fluid, where it contains sugar and fructose. Whereas in case of prostate glands also, they produce a fluid which helps in the nourishment and activation of the sperms that can swim. So what is the function of these two glands? Is sperms are produced, but they need to be transported properly outside the body, and they should be repeatedly be giving them the nutrients required for their energy. So these two seminal vesicles and prostate glands produce fluids. Okay, the fluid produced by seminal vesicles is known as seminal fluid, and the prostate gland we simply call it as a prostate fluid. Both the seminal fluid contains sugar molecules which provide energy, whereas prostate gland contains enzymes and citrate that actually nourish and activate the sperms to swim. Okay, so the sperms will be mixed in this fluid and will be ejected outside the body. Next, coming to the female reproductive system. So in case of female reproductive system, we have ovaries, a pair of fallopian tubes, uterus and vagina. So ovaries, as you all know, it's a primary sex organ. It produces hormones, that is estrogen and the progesterone. So ovaries usually contains follicles. Follicles are known as ovarian follicles. Each follicle produces or contains one large ovum, or we call it as an egg. So the release of egg from the ovum is ovary is called as ovulation. Okay, the release of egg from the ovum is called as ovulation. Next one is the fallopian tubes or oviducts. Okay, now the eggs will be from the ovary will be entering into the fallopian tubes. Okay, from the ovary, the eggs will be transported to the fallopian tubes. Okay, or they are also known as oviducts. And please remember, this is the site or a place where the fertilization takes place. The most important 1 mark bit. The site or place the fertilization takes place is oviducts or fallopian tubules. This is the place where the first time the egg meets the sperm and fusion takes place or fertilization takes place to form a zygote. Zygote is formed in fallopian tubule or the oviduct. So once the zygote is formed, now the zygote will be carried on to a uterus, an elastic sac-like structure, which is specialized in development of embryo until birth. Finally, vagina. This is also known as the birth canal. So this allows the passage of baby at the time of the birth. So here you can see. So these are the ovaries. From the ovaries, the egg is released. This is the oviduct of fallopian tubule. And this is where the place where the fertilization takes place. Once the fertilization takes place, the zygote enters into the uterus and finally develops into a big fetus. And finally, the fetus is removed out or allowed to pass out through the vagina or the birth canal. So when the fertilization takes place, what will happen? Fertilization is nothing but the fusion of the gametes. So in case of human beings, it is internal, means inside the body only it will be happening. So the sperms moves towards the uterus and then to the fallopian tube. And in the fallopian tube, the ovum produces the ovum produced with the during ovulation will meet the sperms and fuse to form a zygote. Now the zygote immediately will be forming into an embryo and then will be embedded into the uterus. This is known as implantation. Means movement of embryo into the uterus is known as implantation. So this is the flow chart. You can take it down. So what we here two scenarios are there. Please remember. Once the egg is fertilized, what will happen? If the egg is not fertilized, what will happen? Next we will be seeing. So if the egg is fertilized, the fertilized egg will be implanted into the uterus and the embryo develops into the embryo. A special disc-like structure known as placenta that is connecting the uterus wall and the embryo is present. Means it will be connecting the uterus wall and the embryo. So all the nutrients required for the fetus to grow will be taken from the mother itself. So this placenta is like a connecting link between the mother and the your growing fetus. We call it growing baby inside the stomach is known as fetus. Okay, it is a special disc-like tissue is known as the placenta. So he wanted here the exchange of oxygen, nutrients, as well as the waste products will be taking place between the embryo and the mother. Okay, next one, the development of embryo, that is the fetus, from the initial stage till the birth of young ones is called as gestation period. Okay, the development of embryo from the initial stage to the young ones is called as gestation period. It is also termed as pregnancy, and it is completely 9 months or 28 to 80 days. So during the gestation, the embryo grows into the baby, and the act of giving birth to the baby is called as parturition. These are the technological terms. You need to learn it. This may come as 1 mark questions. Next, now if the egg is not, this is the when egg is fertilized. Previously, when the egg is fertilized, and we have talking about the pregnancy. Now, when the egg is not fertilized, in females, especially when the egg is not fertilized, we get a menstruation. Okay, the menstrual cycle usually is around 28 to 30 days. And the menstruation starts from the time the females reach their puberty, usually around 13 to 14 years of old. So what will happen? How does the menstruation takes place? So when the egg released during ovulation is not fertilized by the sperm, the thick and soft uterus linings having lot of blood capillaries will not be required. So this unfertilized ovum dies, and the capillaries that is lining the uterus will break down, and due to that they produce blood along with other tissues. So the blood and tissues coming out of vagina in form of bleeding is known as menstruation. So usually the menstruation takes place in every 28 days, and this is known as the menstrual cycle. Okay, so in case this usually starts from the age of 13 to 40, but as the females reaches the age of 45 to 50, slowly the ovaries will not be able to produce the egg. So at that time, the menstruation usually stops. Okay, this is known as menopause, and this marks the end of the reproductive period of the woman. Understood? This marks the end of the reproductive period of the woman. Usually they'll ask you the difference between menstruation and menopause. So what is the significance of sexual reproduction? It produces lot of variations. New combination of variations will be resulted. Next, coming to the reproductive health. Please learn the definitions very properly, and mostly all the 1 mark and 3 marks answers, mostly 1 mark answers will be coming from the reproductive health. So please learn what are STDs, means sexually transmitted diseases. And in examples for bacteria is gonorrhea and syphilis, viral is warts and HIV/AIDS. And how these can be prevented? This can be prevented by use of condoms to some extent. Next, what are the different methods where we can avoid pregnancy or prevent the transmit of the sexually transmitted diseases? So which is also known as contraception. So there are different methods of contraception. I have just break it in your textbook. It was given as a big paragraph. Okay, which you get confused. So either you take a screenshot if you require wherever you want. So newcomers. So the different methods of contraceptions are physical barriers, that is use of condoms, cervical caps, diaphragm to prevent the union of egg and the sperm. This is the physical barrier. Next one is coming to the chemical barrier. Chemical barrier is use of oral pills. Okay. Next is IUC, intrauterine contraceptive device. That is placing of copper T or a loop in the uterus to prevent pregnancy. Next is surgical methods. In case of males, vasa differentia is blocked to prevent the sperm transfer, and the surgery is known as vasectomy. In case of females, fallopian tube is blocked to prevent egg transfer, and this is known as tubectomy. And finally, the last topic, that is female feticide. Although our country is very developed, still we be hearing the case of killing of the females or leaving a newly born female child in a gutter or in a near a dustbin or anywhere. So that is called as female feticide. Okay, the practice of killing of the female child inside the womb or leaving the child somewhere is called as female feticide, and this is mostly happening in all developing countries. Nowadays, it is we are trying to abolish it. Government also is taking many initiative steps where the sex of the fetus will not be told until the time of the birth. It is very illegal in our country to know the sex of the baby to be born, whether it is a male child or a female child. So it is the government has taken immense strict measures to prevent all these practices in our country and trying to maintain the ratio of sex ratio. So with this, I just gave an overview and the summary of the how do organism reproduce. Any doubts you have?
Ma'am,
Is this speaking? Tell me.
I'm Tejas, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, actually, I read that implantation takes place in placenta, ma'am.
Yes. What? I'm not able to hear you, ma'am.
Now can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I've read that implantation takes place in placenta, ma'am.
No, placenta not. Implantation takes place in uterus. Placenta is a connecting cord or disc-like structure where exchange of nutrients, waste, or oxygen takes place between the mother and the fetus.
Okay, ma'am.
Implantation, embryo or zygote, it is implanted into the uterus. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, don't be confused. Placenta is where exchange takes place. Exchange of nutrients, oxygen, and also the waste. Means waste is removed. Whatever the waste secreted by the fetus is also removed by the placenta itself. Okay, between the mother and the growing fetus. Any more doubts?
No doubts, ma'am.
No doubts, ma'am.
Niranjan, Sandhya,
No doubts, ma'am.
I am not asking you all doubts.
No doubts,
Not
ma'am.
have any doubts. Have you gone through the assignment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts in the assignment?
No doubts, ma'am.
In
No
the
doubts, ma'am.
assignment of the fourth question, they're asking to draw a diagram showing the fertilization of pollen grain on the stigma and label the following.
Yes.
And they're asking male nuclei. So should point the pollen grain or the male gamete?
You male gametes.
Male gametes.
Male gametes you point out, and also should draw the TS of the ovary very properly.
What, ma'am? Could you repeat
Ovary. TS of
Okay.
the ovary is there, no?
that? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That one you should draw and label properly everything.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
are there seedless plants, ma'am?
Huh?
Seedless.
See, just 1 second, tell me.
Are there seedless plants?
Yes, there are seedless plants.
How is it possible, ma'am?
There is another type of fertilization known as parthogenesis. You will be reading in class level.
Okay, ma'am.
Any more? So remaining people, all of you finish your assignments and upload in the app. Any doubts you have, you can message me. I'll be explaining you all the doubts.
Ma'am,
Okay,
when
all
is
of
the
you.
assignment submission date, ma'am?
What, ma?
Ma'am, when is the assignment submission date, ma'am?
I don't know, ma. Sir will be keeping you all. Whether
Okay,
you
ma'am.
submit or if you're free, in 1 or 2 days you can submit, no?
No, ma'am, I'm having my school exams till Wednesday, ma'am. So that only
Okay.
I asked about the submission date,
Just
ma'am.
ask him. Just put him a message. He will reply you back. Huh?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Monday again, you'll be having a biology class. If you all are free. Okay, last chapter. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Meantime, if you have your, if you are all free, not having exams, you can complete the assignment and submit. If you are having exams, you can ask him what is the last date.
Ma'am, in one answers of board question, ma'am, 2015, they
Ah,
asked difference between internal and external fertilization, ma'am.
yes.
In that, in internal fertilization, they have mentioned birds, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
But it should be external, no, ma'am.
No,
'Cause
no.
the-
Egg is formed inside the body itself.
There's also a point, ma'am, wherever development occurs inside the body is called internal, and when development occurs outside is called external, ma'am. And for the bird, for birds, the mother bird sits on the egg. That is external only, no,
No,
ma'am.
no. Completely egg has been formed. Fertilization, they're not asking, that is different. Development is different, ma. Please remember. Fertilization means where male and female gametes meet.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, that is internal. Mostly in all mammals, everything it is internal only. Whereas in case of fishes and all those, it is external actually.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fertilization they are asking, not the how the offsprings are developed. That is not. They are asking you only fertilization.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any more? So all the new, anybody has any doubts also, you can message me. And if you are free, you can submit the assignment. Or if you're all of you are having any pre-prod or any other exams, you can submit according to what the date given by sir. Okay.
Ma'am, there is no folder to submit this assignment in the app. So should we send it to you on WhatsApp directly?
No, no, you send to sir only, ma.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
They will communicate to you.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
So with this, I'm concluding the session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Then.